Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Transformers War for Cybertron Generation Selects Voyager class Decepticon Dreadwing. This is the first Selects figure since Megatron all the way back, what was it, March, February? Must have been because I was Toy Fair. But anyway, next figure in the Generation Selects line is here, and it is Dreadwing. And if you don't know who Dreadwing is, I don't blame you. I don't know what his personality is either. I know his origin, which is a weird miscommunication between several companies while FunPub was still a thing, and then he ended up in, and then a canceled project ended up in a comic, but the wrong color, and someone was pestering, and they were like, fine, this guy's Dreadwing. Here you go. And now Hasbro has made it an actual toy. What? I don't know. We're going to get a lot of secrets out of this mold now. This is the second release of, second of 4 versions of the Starscream mold. And here's the Starscream mold. I didn't get a chance to review it yet. I apologize. I'll catch up on Siege soon, but you can see them really quick right there. And before I really get into the figure, quick look at the box. It's the same one if you saw, basically the same as you saw with Ricochet. Autobot logo, though it has War for Cybertron trilogy and that, Decepticon, Dreadwing, and all that other information at the bottom. Nothing on the back, just warnings on this side and half the Autobot symbol. War for Cybertron trilogy, and inside the box is the packaging and stuff. And those are his symbols for his troops squad or whatever. I don't know what that's called. His military division, I guess. But to talk about Dreadwing a bit, he does transform into the Generation 1 cartoon Tetrajet form of the Seekers. And despite these big whole legs sticking out from the bottom, I have really enjoyed this mold, even with Starscream. And Starscream's got flaws. I'll probably mention them when I'm talking about Dreadwing, because Dreadwing does not have those flaws, and it's great. But taking a look at him, we got a bit of a maroon on the front with a little bit of white down here at the vents. Nice red predominantly throughout, along with all this nice panel detailing, as well as this scuffed paint, as there's the battle damage thing for War for Cybertron. The cockpit area is mostly black with a little bit of white highlights and a nice translucent orange cockpit that just goes on, that's just on top of this black piece right there. A little more magenta and white on the edges. Nice Decepticon symbol there, though I feel like this is one of those places where the white border would really work to help that stick out a little bit. We got the back. We got some nice white painted thrusters. There's his chest. Second on the back. That's also another issue people complain about. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. The mold is fun. And then, like I said, legs and arms on the underside, as well as, of course, his accessories, which we should talk about, which are his null rays. He comes with 2. They're black. They're the exact same as the ones that come with Starscream, if you have that mold. Oh, before we move on, I should also mention how I came about this, because it very briefly went up on Target's website July 1st, then was taken down, and those, including myself, who had it pre-ordered or already ordered it, noticed that I was saying Target Red Card exclusive. So I don't know how difficult that means this is actually going to get. I know it's already been released in Hasbro Asia, and supposedly the larger release is supposed to happen in the US next month on the 1st, so I don't know what's going on. All I know is I'm glad to have this figure because he is quite excellent. I mean, admittedly, not much to talk about this mold besides the interesting shapes. Again, I do quite like it. It does feel a bit... It is weird that it has the legs underneath. And a thing that originally bugged me was that there's no spike on the top, because it's like a tetra, they had in the cartoon, they had 3 corners and these wingtips work on the bottom 2 corners, but this corner is just missing, probably because with how thick it would have to be, there have to be soft plastic, or for safety reasons, or granted also this bit transforms and folds over that, so it'd be difficult to incorporate that. But I honestly do like this mold. I mean, I can understand if you have problems with it, but I find it very fun, even though it's very simple and a shell formery. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the jet mode. So now let's get into some size comparisons. Here he is with Deluxe Class Sideswipe, Voyager Class Optimus Prime, Leader Class Ultra Magnus, and the original version of this mold, Voyager Class Starscream. So now with that out of the way, let's roll right along to the robot mode. So first thing, remove his null rays. They are very tight. Everything on this figure is very tight, and in many cases that is a very good thing. So if you didn't start detaching him apart, what you're going to do is undo these. Oops, sorry, I forgot the backpack. This chest piece is on tabs to these two pegs, and we're going to pull that up and lift that down. And for those of you that have the original version of this mold, you know this is a loose piece of thing, and this is incredibly stable. I can put it back on, put it back off, no problem. But there are no pins. They just fix the tightness, and it is fine. So no need for the pins. They just need the right tolerances. So get that out of the way with its very good tolerances. And then we're going to undo these wings. There's a tab right here that goes under this bit right here. And there are these two tabs right there that go into two slots right there, do the same on the other side. Untab. And we're going to lift this up to get some clearance. And you know what? Might as well untab the thrusters from here, flip them over, and then this tab is now going to go into that slot right there. There we go. All right. So that's the backpack. Now to get the robot out of there. I'm going to untab the arms from the legs. These two tabs go into those two slots. Undo the arms. I'm going to flip down the legs. These tabs on the legs go into these slots in the crotch right there. And a very nice bit is that this is a spring-loaded panel, so when you flip it up, it collapses into the leg, so it bends as much as it needs, but the back is still like full and not hollow. So that's a very nice touch that I very much appreciate. And then we're gonna just rotate that waist, come down here, and flip the feet and heel out, flip the foot and heel out. Okay, so to the arms, we're gonna open this from this panel right here. Flip that out. Now we got the fist like this. We're gonna rotate that fist out and then rotate the fist 45 degrees, as well as extend the arm from inside and close that up and rotate that and put that in place. And there's one arm, second arm, repeat that, open that up, pull down, flip it out, rotate fist. There we go. So arms are done. Next thing, simple thing, is we're gonna flip down the chest. And as we flip down the chest all the way, the head, which is right there, it's actually going to help pull the head out. And then we'll just tab this into place. That has now pulled the head out, so we have enough clearance to grab it and pull it up. And then, whoopsies, then we're going to take this panel on the back of his head and untab that and flip that into the chest. I'm not actually 100% sure why that's a thing. Might be to help with the chest lifting, but it's weird, I'm going to be honest. Next, we're going to come up, split the nose cone, like so. Flip those up all the way, and these two slots are going to fit these two tabs on his back. So, and get that into position and pull the wings out. And there is Redwing in his robot mode. And of course you gotta plug the null rays on. It's a seeker mold. However, there are multiple 5mm ports, including there, and under the wings. And these actually are 5mm ports, so you can stick them on his back if you want to. I did fail to mention where the 5mm ports were, but all of these are also accessible in vehicle mode. They're all just located under the wing. So yeah, and then now we have the fist as well, if you want him to be one of those weird seekers from the first episode that were hand-holding their null rays. But Redwing looks very good, and like I said, this mold is really, really great. But taking a look at him color-wise, that is a very nice head sculpt. It is a new head sculpt. Starscream Mold does not smirk. It's just the frown. But this is nice, a nice bit of white paint and a bit of orange light piping going on in there, which is very nice. We got red and white on the chest, as well as this translucent orange and a bit more battle damage. We got some white shoulders on the go with black forearms and fists. Nice plain red crotch. I almost forgot. Battle damage on forearms. Thighs are solid black, and the shins predominantly red, black, white sections with, of course, battle damage. And the feet are completely black, no battle damage on those. And we do also have a tiny Decepticon symbol on each wing, and that is very nice. Yeah, very, very nice. Articulation-wise, and then just quick look. There's the backpack. There is a lot of junk in the trunk, but you know what? It ends up working surprisingly well. In terms of articulation, his head can rotate a full 360 degrees. It is able to do a bit of side to side as well as up and down. Not only that much with just the head, but you can use the transformation hinge to really give him a looking up head or a flying forward head, because I really like these when the head is able to do this on flying transformers, because they're not looking straight at the ground while they're flying in robot mode. Other articulation, the arms are able to bend out that far. They actually are on a hinge like this, so they can come inward. And there's also a 360 degree rotation up there. There's another 360 joint at the bicep. Double bended elbow, as well as a wrist swivel. Waist can do 360 degrees for transformation. However, it cannot do that in robot mode due to all the kibble, but you get quite the good range. And like I said, double jointed elbow. Wrist articulation, I wasn't positive that was on camera. I apologize if it wasn't before. But now for the rest of the legs. Legs can bend that far forward, that far back, again due to kibble. They can go all the way out. There is a greater than 90 degree bend at the knee, especially with the spring in the back of the shin. And the feet are on a pivot. It is a very minimal pivot. It's from there to there. But you also get a quite good forward tilt and backward. Well, not so much on the backward, but like that's really far forward. That's way too far forward probably. But you know what? That's pretty good. And you can like do the toes up, but that's more so for transformation purposes. Yeah. Oh, I also forgot to mention about the battle effects parts, as that's one of the gimmicks in Siege. He has various ports on his body here, on his legs. Are there any on his back? I don't think there are. Anyway, he's got a couple various points where you can put blast effect parts onto to look like he's getting shot, been shot, or you can put them on the ends of his weapons, and he can look like he's firing his null rays, which is neat, which is quite neat, I must say. But that's all there is to say about Redwing himself. So, just gonna make him look pretty. It's time for robot mode size comparisons. Here he is with Deluxe Class Sideswipe, Voyager Class Optimus Prime, Leader Class Ultra Magnus, the original version of the Mold Starscream, and of course the channel's mascots Soundwave and Wheeljack. So overall, Red Wing is an excellent figure in my opinion. There are definitely things that can definitely discourage some people from picking up Red Wing or any version of the mold, but I think it's quite fun. It's pretty simple in its transformation, but like how it works, I just do really enjoy it. Again, even with the crazy backpack and the shell forming basically and the legs sticking into the jet, I thought this thing looked horrible. I thought this was going to be like one of the worst molds of the whole siege, but still look pretty good, especially robot mode. But I still enjoy the mold so much. And it's even with Starscream when his chest was falling off all of the time. But they fixed the tolerances. The chest stays on. I've had issues where the fists on my Starscream would fall off when I was trying to rotate them on the mushroom peg for transformation. His don't do that. He's so much tighter. A little too tight in some places, but I'm sure that will wear down with time. But it's never overly tight, except for the 5mm pegs in a couple of places, but that should be a-okay. So I have very high hopes for Starscream, Thundercracker, and even the repackages of Starscream to have much better quality going forward than the original version of the mold. So if you are holding off on it, be rest assured that the issues are gone. Still kind of sucks. The Red Wing Starscream didn't have the head sculpt Red Wing does, and you can't necessarily switch it since Starscream's face is silver and Red Wing's is definitely white to match with the white and has no gray on him besides some battle damage paint. So I don't know how old that would look if you want to try that, but you can if you want. But I very much appreciate Red Wing. I do hope he is more wildly available, and hopefully he is not purely limited to being a Target Red Card exclusive. So those are my thanks on the Voyager class Red Wing. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, be sure to check out my Ko-fi account, linked in the description down below if you want to help support the channel. As well, you should also check out RDSJ Gaming, a gaming channel I have with Alyssa, aka The Rational Dove, where we are currently playing through Pokemon Coliseum. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.